Yes, you read that title right. I personally believe that Gran Turismo 7 is going to be the best Gran Turismo title of all time, and let me explain why. Well, first off, we're currently going through the coronavirus pandemic, and they have delayed this game forever. They've delayed this game for over a year. It was supposed to be released roughly around Christmas of this past year. They delayed it until this year, and now they've delayed it again once again until 2022. Now, this is a very long time to delay a game, but it's really no surprise when it comes to Polyphony Digital, because of course they have delayed games in the past quite often actually, and technically this has actually been delayed for many years. Originally it was supposed to be out on the PlayStation 4 and they never did. They released Gran Turismo Sport, which was just the Passover game essentially to see if like the whole esports online racing world is actually profitable and people want to play it, and which people do. So what we're trying to see is, will this be a great game? Well, I know there's a lot of naysayers saying, it's just going to be the same garbage and blah, blah, blah. I personally love Gran Turismo, so I might be a bit jaded because I really like the games. But why is this one going to be a fantastic, best ever game? Well, number one thing, it's been delayed. And it's being delayed, in my opinion, probably because of the lack of consoles being put on the market. And because of this, because the consoles are just not on the market, what can they do? They can't just say, well, we're done the game, we're done, we're going to sit back, we're going to wait until there's enough consoles, we'll see what happens, and we'll eventually release it, but at this point we're just not going to do anything. No, that's not how these gaming companies work. What they actually will be probably doing right now is, hey, we have the game, it's finished, but let's try to improve it to make it better. I think that's what they're doing right now. So some of the things that they may try and do, and I'm not saying that they will, there's been really no news on anything that they're doing in the game since over a year ago now, but some of the things that they have put in is the used car dealership, which is kind of interesting and kind of really does push my narrative as to what it could mean. We've seen the used car dealership in the game before. We've seen it where you just buy cars in the game that are just beaten up, and then you pay money to repair them, and you got yourself a cheap car for racing. But what it could mean is possibly they may try to put NFTs into the game. Maybe not right away, but maybe in the future. Who's to say? But maybe they will have a set number of cars worldwide that will be sold on their car market. You pay in-game currency to be able to buy those cars, and there's only so many of them. So something like a Honda Civic, there may be an unlimited version of it where it's just there's 6 trillion different Honda Civics. But when it comes to something maybe a little bit more rare, something like a Ferrari, maybe they may have just a set number like, hey, we made 1 million Ferraris. And then you can sell that Ferrari on the used car dealership. And then other people can say, well, I'm willing to pay this much in-game currency. I'm willing to pay this much in-game currency. And then that way, you could actually, as a gamer, make money in a game. And let me explain why. So when they release a new car, let's say they release a new Bugatti. Let's say it's a new version of the Bugatti Veyron. And they release it and they say, well, there's only going to be 100,000 of these in-game. Well, somebody's going to go out, somebody's going to buy that. Well, guess what? There's going to be easily 100,000 people who will buy that car in-game. And then there's going to be people who want to flip them, and they'll put them on the used car dealership, and they could flip it for double the price. And when they get that in-game currency back, they could flip that in-game currency to real-world currency, get a payout to maybe PayPal or something, and make money in the game. Now, that's kind of an intriguing idea. I'm not too sure if that's going to be out in Gran Turismo 7, but that is kind of a really cool idea that they may try to do in-game. NFTs are non-fungible tokens. We're hearing more and more about this stuff all the time. CNBC is adding a new NFT, and a whole bunch of other people. Gary Vee is another one. And it's just something that would be cool. If they had a set number of cars, and your whole main goal is to obviously want to race every single car, and the more money you make in game, the more ability you can get that car. And of course, you could even have the in-game currency being a not necessarily a Bitcoin, but the same idea, a version of a cryptocurrency, maybe something cheap like a Dogecoin. And that would be kind of interesting as well. So these are some of the things that they may be trying to implement, but I would say that that's in the future. That's many, many games away. But they could be doing some really spectacular things to make this a special game. And that's what they would be doing during this time while they're waiting for that console to finally get out. Instead of just sitting on their butts, they could be making this game into the best ever game ever for Gran Turismo series. And let's think of it. The closest thing we've had to a great best ever game for Gran Turismo, and a lot of people say this as well, is Gran Turismo 6. Gran Turismo 6 you could get online and race, but there was no professional side of it. We now, with Gran Turismo Sport, have a pro side where there are teams and people who can actually win money if they can be one of the top racers in the world. There's also influencers, so you could become an influencer and, of course, maybe make your way to the top that way. It's so totally possible, but this is just a couple of ideas that they may be trying, and of course, I think this is what's going to happen. These are my own thoughts. Leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. I'll see you guys again next time.